Hello, and welcome to just I don't know how brief it's gonna be, but basically I'm just at the start of Skyrim here. You know, just after the little town introduction and then cave escape tutorial. And I know this is like, what, 5 months or so or more after the announcement of the Elder Scrolls Online. Thing is, the Elder Scrolls Online is just, I mean, people can say there's no information, but there's been the E3 stuff, there's a bunch of videos, there's like the 20-page Game Informer reveal article, and there's a lot of stuff, like for instance, the combat, that there's just so many things that they're like ripping out what is, you know, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, combat, housing, the way classes work, the 3 factions that are race locked. Which is such a bad idea for so many like, want to shoot an arrow into the ground in the Elder Scrolls Online? I'll bet money that's going to be an impossibility. In fact, arrows are probably going to be more along the lines of homing missiles, where you tab target, fire off abilities, just like World of Warcraft. And it's such a shame, because really you can go from this, I mean, Skyrim, with, oh hey look, that's a rock, I pick up my arrows, like even items on the ground. When was the last time you actually saw an MMORPG where you could drop items on the ground? It's been a while. There aren't many. And I mean, the amount of think about any Elder Scrolls game. I mean, the items that you can just pick up in the world, interact with in the world, drag around. It's a big part of it. So I mean, if they're gonna make basically the Elder Scrolls WoW edition, it just doesn't interest me at all. I mean, they might as well, like, the game's been in development, the Elder Scrolls Online, for 5 years. I mean, a lot of this stuff is probably set in stone at this point. You're not talking early development. And it just seems such a shame the direction they're going. Now, why can't they do combat in Scott? Like, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, the combat in the Elder Scrolls game sucks. The first person clicking and blah, blah, blah stuff. But really, I like this. I mean, sure, I could jump out, go third person or whatever, and play it that way as well. Well, not really. I mean, some of the things they're going to keep in the actual Elder Scrolls Online. From what I gather, everybody will be able to sneak, everybody will have a stamina bar, everybody will be able to be blocked. But when you're throwing away the entire, like, your spells are aimed, your arrows are aimed, your strikes are aimed, and you're just putting in tab target per his abilities, I feel like you're not really staying very true to the Elder Scrolls. Now, I mean, sure, you could throw up, oh, it's technically not possible. You need to have the whole tab target thing in MMOs. Well, it's just like housing, too. Oh, we can't do housing. It's too hard. We wouldn't be able to do it the way the players would want it. It's just crappy excuses to not make a good game. And I mean, if you're just gonna slap the Elder Scrolls on it, make it pretty much like WoW, and the only people who are the only reason it looks like the Elder Scrolls is because of graphics or the lore or the names on stuff, like calling it the provinces Cyrodiil, Skyrim, Daggerfall, blah blah blah. It just doesn't feel like it has the soul carrying over from the actual Elder Scrolls games. When you're leaving, mind you, a lot of the times the Elder Scrolls games were pretty lackluster, and really the only time that you would excuse me, that you would get a good experience is with mods, and player mods fixed a lot of stuff. I mean, the leveling system in Oblivion was horrid. Of course, Skyrim really isn't that much better. And then I mean, Elder Scrolls Online, it's gonna copy paste World of Warcraft like crazy for so many areas. It just seems like such a crappy way to do things. Race-locked factions. Instead of pick your race, do a quest, join the faction you want. No, can't do that. We're going to have the 3 different factions where it's going to be like the cats, the elves, and whatever. The Nords, the orcs, and some other people, and the lizards and some people. So, basically, they got the 9 races and they're dividing them up. So you've got the Nords, the Orcs, and I don't know, the Red Guards or something. Could be wrong. Don't really care about looking it up either. I know there's 3 factions. You're only going to see 3 races per faction, which is just it's ludicrous. I mean, what if I want to be a cat and I want to play with my buddy who's an orc or a lizard or Nord or whatever? I mean, it's just stupid to place a limit like that on your players when it's completely unnecessary. There are so many things. I mean, that 20-page article, reading that was just depressing. Watching the E3 stuff where they have basically no gameplay. I mean, it's just sweeping areas. Like they're doing flybys of areas. Ooh, big friggin' deal. I'm pretty much predicting that the Elder Scrolls Online will suck. I mean, you can go read some Matt Fire or whatever quotes, or some Paul Sage stuff, or just pretty much watch anything that they do, and it is bad. It's just it's friggin' depressing when I've had so much fun in Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind, to see what they're going to be doing to make the Elder Scrolls Online, and how they've got to basically, they're like, oh wow, they got some 3 faction Dark Age of Camelot influence, as if that friggin' matters. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that faction locked PvP is idiotic. Like World of Warcraft with the Horde and the Alliance not even being able to talk between them, or PlanetSide with 3 factions where you could pick any one. I wonder. Yeah. 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 Elder Scrolls Online will suck. There won't be any shooting arrows wherever you want to. There won't be any picking up items off the ground. Probably none of that. I doubt it very much. Probably be lucky to see horses. Like, why would they just do that crap? I mean, you'd think they would be able to see, man, look at this awesome game. Now, we'll just get some other little company that we're going to make ZeniMax Online, who isn't even Bethesda, has like that. Plus, they've got like 250 employees doing this. I mean, it feels like they're just trying to follow in the footsteps of BioWare and makes like Star Wars: The Old Republic, where nobody will be playing it. It'll be announced free to play 6 months after release, if it isn't at release. You don't need to look much further than The Old Republic to see the kind of fail that I feel is going to be The Elder Scrolls Online, and it's not going to be a good day for gaming. Let's put an arrow in this guy's knee, and then I think we'll call it quits. It's what a shame. Like, you're not going to be able to do this in The Elder Scrolls Online. There's not going to be any arrows in the knee. It's gonna suck. You won't be able to pick up items off the ground. Anyway, that's that. I think my rant's pretty much over. I'm gonna just sit here and punch the ground and cry.